Hey everyone, welcome to Inside Indiana Overtime, right here actually in Banger's Life Fieldhouse. We are John Bauerfein, Alex McCarthy from Inside Indiana, talking in the press room, or I guess where the press conferences take place post game. So
We're one seat over from where Crean and Yogi and Troy Williams spoke. Right?
yeah.
I think Crean was to one seat to my
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. So this is very exciting. We're basically celebrities right now in front of this backdrop that we both think is a little bit ugly, but we'll deal with it. But we're here to talk about obviously Indiana's maybe their best win of the year. It's they beat Butler, a ranked Butler team, 82-73 here in the Crossroads Classic, avenging a loss to Butler in the same event a couple years ago. And really, except for the last few minutes of the first half, Indiana looks pretty good for most of this game. They had a 10-point lead with like 4 minutes left to go in the first half, then allowed Butler to kind of get back in it, tie it, and then it was really back and forth for basically the whole game. I think there were like 8 ties, 9 lead changes, something like that. Really fun game, really entertaining game to watch, especially after watching a few, kind of cupcake games at Assembly Hall. Um, Obviously, a couple standout performances. Yogi Ferrell in the second half was fantastic after really not being that involved in the first half due to foul trouble. I think he had
20
20,
points
yeah,
all in the second half.
yeah. He ended with yeah. I guess they were all in the second half, like you said. I guess what did you see out of Yogi tonight or today? I guess.
Well, his first points came with, I believe, 13 minutes and 48 seconds left in in the second half.
That's crazy.
No points in the first half. Picked up a second foul before the first media timeout, so just a little over 4 minutes into the game. And, IU's offense didn't really miss a beat in the first half. They still scored 38 points, looked pretty efficient. And then in the start of the second half, you know, totally different case. Butler finished the half on 11-3 run, tied up going into half. And, coming out of halftime, IU looked a little stagnant on offense, weren't getting a lot of good looks, found themselves down by 6, their largest deficit, what would turn out to be their largest deficit of the game. Then Yogi hits a three-pointer where IU's within 3, and then, basically just goes off. How many? He had 3 threes that he made in the second half. One of them to put them up 11. He got the ball at the top of the key, did a little shimmy, and I used that word in my article.
Nice.
Proud of myself for that one.
Gotta get the shimmy.
And made a 3, and at some point it looked like the team was playing a lot like it played last year with Yogi, trying to just they're deferring to him, and they did do that. But then again, Yogi was good enough for them to come back. But more so than that, Yogi had 20 points all in the second half, but he did not lead IU in scoring. That was Troy Williams, who you wrote about today.
Right. And Troy was really kind of consistent the whole game. He had 12 in the first half, 10 in the second half, and was doing it on both ends of the court. He had a couple blocks. He had a career high 11 rebounds. He matched his career high with 22 points, and was doing it in a lot of ways. We heard a lot about Troy hitting whatever it was, 10,000 threes this summer or something, but we haven't seen any kind of perimeter game from him yet this year.
He hit his first 3 of the game.
Yep. He hit the only he hit the only 3 he attempted, where he wasn't trying to do too much, but they gave him an open shot. He took it, made it, made all 3 of his free throw attempts, and just looked more in control than usual. I mean, there were a few in the first half. There were a few plays where you're thinking like, Troy, slow it down a little bit. He took the first shot of the game, and it was not really a pretty one. Actually, he took a lot of really not very pretty shots, but a lot of them went in tonight. There was he got caught a little in between trying to make a move and ended up just doing this little skyhook action, and it went in, which people got a big kick out of just watching Troy just kind of improv his way to 22 points. But we've seen the last couple games, really since the Louisville game where he only had 1 rebound, we've seen him be a lot more aggressive, be a lot more assertive on the glass. He had 8 boards against Grand Canyon, and again, Grand Canyon is Grand Canyon. But tonight, 11 rebounds against the Butler team that's been pretty good on the board so far this year. It's kind of him heating up before Big Ten play, and Hunter Bray also had a pretty good game.
8 points, 9 rebounds.
Yeah, 4 blocks.
4 blocks.
He's going to get lost in the shuffle a little bit with this whole thing, but I thought he played really well.
Yeah, and it just looked like him and Troy were just finding the ball better today. I don't really know what that means other than, obviously they combined for 20 rebounds, and that's huge. IU out rebounds Butler 48-40. 15 offensive rebounds. That's pretty incredible from, this team, as limited as they are with their size. And, Emmett Holt only played 3 minutes today, didn't play at all in the second half, which I thought was interesting. But, you can see, like, what this team's capable of if they're getting rebounds and then pushing the ball. 82 points is a lot of points.
Yeah, yeah, and it was kind of bizarre to see some of the lineups that were used. Emmett Holt was in the first group of guys off the bench, and then didn't come back into the game. And Colin Hartman was playing at the 5 a lot. It was an interesting dynamic to see out on the court.
And I think you can also kind of take away. So Butler wasn't or is not that big of a team too.
Right.
And you can see IU matched up against a very good team that Butler is. They're ranked, but a team with similar size. They're no one's going to be able to guard IU. But obviously they're going to be playing bigger teams. But you can just tell, for what it's worth, if this team were taller, just how good they could be.
Yeah, yeah,
and
exactly.
That's not to say they still don't have a lot of potential.
Right, right. And it was interesting to see tonight that big performances from Troy, from Yogi, a good game from Hunter. The guy who's been really impressive all year and has scored in double digits every game of his IU career up until tonight, James Blackman, was inexplicably off tonight. He was 2 for 12 from the floor, and just didn't. His shot was way off all game, everywhere, from outside, from by the basket. His last shot of the game, he had a breakaway layup, and he kind of fumbled the ball around, and then went for a reverse and missed everything. He airballed what should have been an easy breakaway 2 points.
He's 2 for 12 shooting, only had 5 points. Another freshman who struggled, Rob Johnson, just 1 of 6. But so the young backcourt struggled, but Yogi more than made up for that. Nick Zysloth had a nice game too.
He had a couple of big shots.
Hotzel made his only 3-point attempt. Pretty sure he's made like 4 or 5 in a row. He seems to have that stat line down pat, just the 1 for 1 from 3. Although some of the backcourt struggled, and you're going to get that, especially with freshmen. It was good to see other players step up and contribute. And who actually had a nice game was Stan Robinson, who had 4 points and took not as many bad shots as Troy. I know Stan shot a 3, and sorry Stan, no one really is going to want you shooting 3s, but made some nice plays, played good defense in the second half. Forget what's his name, who had 18 points.
Right, Kellen Dunham.
Kellen Dunham had 18 points in the first half, only 5 in the second half.
Yeah, they did a great job of shutting him down after halftime. Certainly, obviously a very encouraging performance for Indiana, especially going into a pretty big stretch of games. They play New Orleans on Monday, but then it's Georgetown, and then it's Big Ten play starting on New Year's Eve. So they're kind of starting to maybe hit their stride a little bit at a really fortuitous time. If Troy can keep playing like this, if Hunter can keep having this kind of consistent contribution that he's had on both ends of the court, Indiana can really maybe do some damage in a extremely wide open Big Ten. So we'll see what happens. John's going to be possibly at the game Monday. I won't be there, but then we'll have coverage, obviously, of every game throughout the end of the year and then into Big Ten play. So once again, Indiana 82, Butler 73. That's all we've got. We got to get out of here so that Purdue and Notre Dame players can come up here and talk about the game. But until next time, I'm Alex McCarthy, John Bonnerfine from Inside Indiana. Peace out.